And what happened today?
Well, I was asked to come again to Alvin Bragg's office to meet with his team. And as I stated when I was leaving, actually when I was entering and then leaving the premises, that his team is really well versed in all aspects of this case. I'm actually impressed with just how quickly that they got up to speed. Let's not forget that Mark Pomerantz was involved in this for over a year. And Mark's knowledge of this case, along with Carrie Dunn, was spectacular. But I have to say that this team as well are also very, very up to speed, and they're very knowledgeable about all the facts, all of the information, and all of the testimony so far that's been provided.
People get married before going on 15 dates. Why 15 visits?
Well, that I don't. Let's not forget, 13 were with the former District Attorney Cyrus Vance. 3 of those 13 were while I was incarcerated at Otisville. Right. So it's technically 10. Now it's 2. And I will be returning to the District Attorney's office. When, I'm not going to tell you. But at the end of the day, to me, it's an indication, and a clear indication, just how serious that Alvin Bragg is taking this investigation.
So without asking you to tell us what you talked about, can you give us an assessment of which part of the alleged criminal conduct by Donald Trump you think is on the front burner for Mr. Bragg's office? Right,
so I can't. It's no different than asking me exactly what we spoke about. And I really do want to respect the request of the team, the district attorney's team, because I don't want to give anybody any heads up. And when I say that, I'm talking about Trump and his team as to what it is exactly that they're going for. But so much of this, as Mark Pomerantz said last night on your show, so much of this has already been discussed. It's just they are so deep into the nuance of each and every aspect of all of the, we'll call it, alleged illegalities that were committed by Trump and company.
So one of the things that Mark Pomerantz writes about in his book, the first 106 pages of his book, are about his look into the crimes committed around what you went to jail for, the hush money payments from Trump to Stormy Daniels through you, and the migration of the sort of cover story that you actually got on the phone and gave to Melania Trump, that it was all your idea, you did it to protect him, and how Trump, from the Oval Office in 2018, was directing that. Is that, do you believe, under scrutiny?
Like I said, we could try to parcel out each and every part. I truly don't want to provide any of the sum and substance of the conversations that I engaged in today with the district attorney, again, other than to say that, along with so much more, is right now in discussion. And the interesting thing everybody keeps asking me is why? Why now? What's happening with Alvin Bragg? Why is he finally moving? Is it because he received so much scrutiny as a direct result of whether it's Pomerantz's book or even on this show? You and I have had this conversation. I, too, like Mark Pomerantz, do not understand why it took so long. But then again, if you think about it, he was brand new into the office. And I think it's only fair that he had enough time, like they did, in order to review the case. I believe, and he used the transportation analogy that, it just wasn't ready for takeoff. And I had said before, and I stand by it, I believe we're on the tarmac, and I believe that rather imminently we're going to have takeoff, and eventually, since we're going on transportation idioms here, we will be arriving at our destination.
And you think that's an indictment of Donald J. Trump?
That's the destination.
Something else, Mark Pomerantz, I mean, the response I just played was to my question about why SDNY, which had amassed enough evidence about Donald Trump to confidently and dozens and dozens and dozens of time name him as essentially an unindicted co-conspirator, individual number one. That response where he says, I have no idea, is to my question about why SDNY never investigated the hush money scheme. Do you know the answer to that?
No, so that's something I'm trying to find out. And it's one of the things that I am constantly yelling from the rooftop. It's about transparency. Last night at the State of the Union, we listened to our president talk about transparency and democracy. And I've been yelling the same thing. There is no transparency, as I've talked to you about. I have a FOIA request that's out there. We're now 7 months in, and I still have yet, it's 7 months since the court told them that they have to start processing. I have Mark Zaid as an attorney on it. There's 486,000 documents. Of course, first they stated that there are none, but then they ultimately determined after the lawsuit by Zaid that there's 486,000. I have yet to get a single document. Why? Because they don't want to be transparent. There's something seriously wrong with the Southern District of New York. There's something very seriously wrong with the way that this matter was handled. Jeffrey Berman, in his own book, talks about it. You know, I brought a bar complaint against Jeffrey Berman for exactly that reason. The fact that he allegedly recused himself, but yet he's speaking to Maine justice. This is a real problem. If Americans are supposed to have this belief that our Justice Department is legitimate, that Lady Justice wears a mask because it's not supposed to be whether you're rich, you're poor, whether you're black, you're white. Everyone's supposed to be treated equally in the eyes of the law.
I can't hear you.
Clearly, the Southern District of New York does not operate under those circumstances. And I will get to it. It's just unfortunately taking a long time and requires, you know, a lot of lawyers.
Jeff Berman does write in his book that he became involved because his deputy was getting direction from Maine Justice, I believe from staff of Rod Rosenstein's, to remove some of the references to Donald J. Trump. Do you believe there was also interference in terms of whether to bring that case once Trump left office?
No, absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind that it's the reason why they refuse to be transparent. It's why they refuse to turn over any of the documents, because it will implicate the president, the former president. It will implicate Bill Barr in terms of the weaponization. And I find it comical that right now you have the Republicans screaming that the Biden administration is weaponizing the Department of Justice against Trump and his acolytes. It's the exact opposite. It's complete deflection. And listen, I have documents that I would love to provide to President Biden, because this is exactly what we need to do as Democrats. We need to shout about how their weaponization is destroying our democracy, and worse than that, how it's ripping up our Constitution.
We talked about this idea that two systems of justice, two standards of justice have been created by this. It's said on my show all the time, if you're going to shoot for the king, you can't miss. That to bring a case against Trump, it is a different standard than what was used for you or what would be used for me or David. Maybe not Neil. He's more royal than us. And Mark Pomerantz believes that in and of itself is two separate systems of justice. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I agree with Mark completely. At the end of the day, let's take a look to see what's going on just in D.C. alone. How many issues, legal issues, are plaguing various different members of Congress? Do you see anybody being held accountable? No. Accountability is only for the stupid people like myself, the easier targets, the ones where they end up deciding, like this unconstitutional remand of me back to Otisville because I wouldn't waive my First Amendment constitutional right and not publish
the first book.
The first book.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, this is the big problem. This is where this Biden administration, the Attorney General Merrick Garland, the Inspector General, they all need to start to look into this, because without it, as you said, we now have two completely separate standards of law.